XRP sellers are exhausted. That means that the downside action and the consolidation that we've seen over the past few months is coming to an end, and the suits are now getting ready to sell it with slideshow presentations. They're going to wrap these products in 589 different ways, and we're going to be front running them until the time is up. And that time's coming up here shortly, as the ETFs are set to go live for XRP as soon as the government shutdown ends. No, I am not anticipating the SEC to approve the ETFs while the government is shut down. But unless this government shutdown lasts forever, right, eventually we will come back on. I know some of us wish that they would just go away forever, but we're going to come back on, and the SEC is going to start signing off, and it's going to be a tidal wave of XRP, crypto, and other related ETFs. They're going to be going live. So let's get right on into it, folks. Big day for silver, smashing up to a new all-time high today. You love to see it. And I had to take a moment to congratulate our community. I said, speaking for myself, being 95% XRP and silver has outperformed every guru and strategy in the game right now. You name the indicator, the strategy, the ticker. I would say that only maybe the degens and the memes might have made a little bit more than we did, or at least I did, in being 95% allocated to XRP and silver. But the thing about the degen meme traders is that they'll just go gamble it on something else, blow it on their little girlfriend or whatever they end up doing, right? So even if they made a little bit more ROI, we'll see how big of a bag that was. And two, we'll see if they can keep it. But to those of you guys that have been in XRP for offense, crypto-related utilities, and then on the defensive side, you've been in the precious metals. Boy, has it paid off. Now, think about this, guys. This is what Wall Street's so scared of, is that Joe Blow off the street can outperform all of them, just by holding two assets. Silver for defense, XRP for offense. Throw away your charts, throw away your indicators, throw away your guru, throw away your financial advisor. Throw away your fund manager that's taking 2 and 20. You just buy the asset spot. You put it in your cold storage, and you get set free. God bless you all. This party's just getting started. That's the best part about this, is we've been outperforming, and the party ain't over. Let's get right on into it, folks. Imagine thinking that now is the right time to sell, when you got Securitize partnering up with Ripple to onboard BlackRock and Van Eck to the XRP ledger. And there's literally people out there right now saying, yep, sell button. Boy, are you going to get left behind. And this is how the suits play the game. We had this post from yesterday. This is on Ethereum, and that's the BlackRock Ethereum ETF, the ETHA. And we're looking at the ETHA inflows here from Zero Hedge. It's just amazing that Jane sparked a massive momentum ignition sell-off. This is Jane Street, okay? They spark a massive momentum ignition sell-off just in time for BlackRock's ETF to buy the most Ether in 2 months, buying 437 million on a day that the price plunged all day. While you are full of fear, and I know not you guys listening to me, but I'm talking about the other retail traders and speculators and crybabies that sometimes show up in my comments, while they're hitting the sell button, panicking and leaving their positions, the investors at BlackRock are saying, thank you very much. Let's soak up 437 million in inflows into the BlackRock Ethereum ETF. And this is why I say that the suits have the champagne on ice, because they know that they're about to go break records with the XRP ETFs. And I want you guys to go to that party too. I don't know who the DJ is going to be, but I do know that the champagne's on ice, and we're going to be setting records over there. Now, it's ETFs that lead us to a supply shock, along with digital asset treasury companies, which have already actually acquired 10% of the overall Ethereum supply. Now they're coming for XRP. And this leads us into the next step, which is institutional adoption in DeFi. Well, Flare, they're minting it like crazy out here, folks. More XRP put into the Flare vault. This transaction went across Whale Alert. It's 4 million XRP locked in an escrow at an unknown wallet. You can actually go on the ledger. This is the beautiful thing about public blockchains, is we can go on the ledger. You can go see that wallet is named Flare Vault 2. And so far, Flare has already locked up almost $60 million worth of XRP. That's equivalent to about 20 million XRP has already been locked up in the Flare DeFi. Now, today I did go mint another 100 FXRP. So total, if you guys recall, I did a tutorial on how to do this. So if you missed that, you can go back and watch that from last week. I minted 90 FXRP last week, and then I minted 100 XRP this week. And by the way, that was my motivation for this morning's video, was I went to go move some XRP off of Uphold to go mint some more FXRP. I looked at that exchange rate again, and that's where I saw the Uphold was going to hit me with a 2.5% spread if I went to go sell XRP. Now, I wasn't going to go sell. I was just moving it off to my cold storage or Bifrost wallet, right? So that I could go mint FXRP. But that's what inspired me to make this morning's video, which was titled Securing XRP in a Liquidity Crisis, talking about, cold storage, institutional grade custody, getting on platforms with bankruptcy, remote protection, etc. Is because we're still going through a liquidity crisis, right? But then also when it comes to trading, these platforms are hitting you with the hidden fees. And then when it comes to cashing out, right? Ideally, we're just going to invest in XRP, good assets, and never have to sell them. But we know that that's not how it works, right? People are going to buy and sell, and some people are going to want to take profits and cash out. And when you're doing so, look out. And so that's what inspired this morning's video. If you guys haven't checked that one out, I encourage you to do so. Good value, whether you use any of my platforms or not. I just tell you guys, hey, here's the platforms that I use. Here's where they're scraping fees from me. Here's where they're hitting me with withdrawal limits. Here's where they're giving me trouble. And here are platforms that I like and love, right? That's what I do. And what I'm doing with the Flare deal is I'm minting FXRP so I can go deploy it in the Flare ecosystem, try to earn some yield on my XRP so that I can report back to you guys and let you know my findings. So far, I did 90 FXRP last week, 100 FXRP this week. Now I need to deploy it in the Flare ecosystem, but you can track these wallet transactions on chain. Your XRP, when you go into mint FXRP, never leaves the XRP ledger. It gets put in the Flare vault, and then it gets represented and bridged over in the Flare ecosystem with the FXRP coin. Okay? Not to get too in depth on the technicals on that, but just to explain, this is what leads to a supply shock. ETFs, digital asset treasury companies, and institutional adoption, which the institutions are definitely exploring the DeFi right now. And I like what Flare's doing. They're allowing us to kind of be the guinea pigs and test it out before they really ramp it up. Now, they're about to integrate Zalman Wallet, which many of us use, myself included, is about to integrate Flare in FXRP, where you'll be able to mint. I think you'll probably be able to hit 1 or 2 buttons on your Zalman wallet, and you'll be able to mint your FXRP. There is billions of XRP on Zalman. So as that integration goes live and these caps keep on raising, we are going to see a lot of XRP getting locked up here in very short order. Now let's get into some Ripple news. We have this coming from Matthew Sigel. Luxembourg becomes the first EU sovereign wealth fund to buy Bitcoin with a 1% position via ETF. Now, a couple reasons why I want to share this. One, because the Bitcoin maxis are going to run around and say, oh, see, they're adopting Bitcoin, only Bitcoin, Bitcoin's the best, everything else sucks. Not true, because I'm going to show you in the next post here that Stuart Alderati, Cassie Craddock, and Team Ripple also was meeting with Luxembourg and with the finance minister of Luxembourg, Giles Roth. So it wasn't just Bitcoin in the room. But the second point that I want to make is that they're only getting exposure to Bitcoin right now because the ETFs are live for Bitcoin. Right? Now, there are a few exchange traded products live in Europe, but a lot of these governments and institutions, they want to go to the biggest asset managers in the world, like BlackRock. That's just their preference. They want to go to the big dogs, right? And the big dogs like BlackRock provide the lowest fees. We broke that down on Tuesday night's live show. By the way, come on back tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern for our live show tonight, full Q&A session as well. As soon as these institutions, governments, and central banks have the ability to buy an ETF for XRP, they are going to. They're only buying Bitcoin now because it's, one of the 2 assets that actually has exchange traded products. So what you see here, 1% position via an ETF, well, it's only because you got Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. As soon as our government opens up, right, you're going to go live. The biggest asset managers in the world are going to be launching their XRP ETFs. But we did have Stuart, that's the chief legal officer at Ripple. And he says the EU led in creating comprehensive rules for digital assets, and nations like Luxembourg are leaning in. Thanks to Luxembourg Finance Minister Rothgills and his team for a great meeting last week. Ripple is excited about our future in Luxembourg and the EU. Yep, it's going to be big. And I'm waiting for, there's a couple of their partners that have already launched the Eurodollar on the XRP ledger. The Brazilian Real from Braza Bank, Braza or BBVA, I don't know which one it was. One of the Ripple partners down there, they've gone live with the Brazilian Real on the XRP ledger as well. And we're waiting for other big national currencies to go live on the XRP ledger. But eyes on Europe, they're moving ahead now with regulations. And so things are starting to pick up over there pretty quickly. Now let's move it over to the Middle East, where Ripple is going to continue expanding and dominating in that region. Next up, the Kingdom of Bahrain. We're expanding our presence in the Middle East through a partnership with Bahrain. Building on our Dubai regulatory license, this move reinforces our commitment to the MENA region. Yep, they will continue to dominate. Together, we'll accelerate crypto adoption, drive pilot projects, and launch accelerator and educational programs to introduce solutions like Ripple Custody and ROUSD to key financial institutions in the region. Governments, central banks, and the largest institutions in the world. And the party is going to be happening November 4th and 5th at Ripple Swell Conference in New York. That's where the veil gets lifted completely and fully, and the world gets to realize, oh wait, these institutions really are partnered up with Ripple. They really are going to build on the XRP ledger. They really are going to tokenize on the XRP ledger, and they really are going to bring these flows of liquidity that are valued in the trillions of dollars to the XRP ledger. And so maybe this is why the sellers are exhausted, because they can only deny it for so long. The ETFs going live, the digital asset treasury companies, the institutional adoption, the DeFi blossoming. And now we start to see XRP bottoms out and moving back up. Now I zoomed out here. I'm on the 15-minute chart, but I zoomed out here to when we last back tested 270, just to show you guys these levels that we have here of support. And so XRP did go down to about 277 here today. People are front running that 270 level. And so we only made it down to 277. Market starts to move back up. We're up to 281. Now, am I getting excited about this? No. Our conviction in the asset remains the same. It doesn't vary by little price swings by, now the swings are 30, 40 cents in a day, which is kind of exciting. But on a day-to-day basis, our conviction in the investment doesn't change. A little bit of price action doesn't change, right? And what we're seeing right now is that the sellers have been exhausted. The bears, the fudsters, the trolls, the clickbait FUD against XRP, right? We saw some of that, and we've been calling that out over the past week because it's just trash content and it's disrespectful to their audience. I think they could do better. Somebody's got to call them out. And so we've seen it all. They have nothing left. They have nothing left. And the worst part about this too is the biggest fudsters and people that trash XRP also have their XRP moonbag, and they're scared to sell their XRP moonbag. And that's why I say that the sellers are exhausted. We're starting to see the inflows return, and it's not going to be long here before you move back up above $3. That FOMO kicks back in, and we have a couple levels of resistance between here and the all-time high. Are we going to all-time high tomorrow? No. But the fundamental current and the tailwinds behind us here are going to carry us to a double-digit XRP so easily done. Many people don't realize this, but we're just going to keep pounding on that. For the new people here that think that they might be late, you're not late. You're still going to triple it up at least by next year. If not, do a 10x going to my $20 to $30 base case. For the people that have been here for a while and wondering, wow, was that the end of the XRP bull run? Did I just miss the top at 366? Absolutely not. Like I said, imagine thinking that now's the time to sell when Wall Street's about to start selling it for you. Use a little bit of common sense, okay? And if you ever get distracted or lost, come on back here where we break down the fundamentals for you on a daily basis. If you appreciate what we're doing, please help us out by liking this video, sharing it out far and wide. All of our community resources are at zachrector.com, and I will see you guys here back tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern for our full live show breakdown and Q&A. Thank you and God bless. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.